I'm Anton Forde. I'm a sculptor from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Culturally, I'm from Aotearoa Nui Taranaki, Gaeltacht, Gaelic, and just down the road in Stoven is I'm also from there. So I work in stone and wood mainly at the moment. Papare 80.1 is, I suppose, the biggest work in a series of contemporary Pou that I started working on in 2007. It is made from the Australian hardwood. It was conceived during the bushfires of 2021, where our island, the island that we live on, was shrouded in mist. We sort of bundled the kids up and went round to one of our dear friends, and we reflected on that if we don't do something for the planet and for each other, our kids are gonna. We're going to do something to protect them. So I started the series where I wanted to make a number of Pou in what's known as the Kaukau formation, which the Kaukau is a V formation, which is based on they use it in the haka, but it's also seen in migratory birds where they travel, and to get where they need to go, they need to work together. So that's part of the kaupapa, or the philosophy of this work, is that we have to work together to protect our young ones. The aim is that the audience and the work combine, and there's a connection there. If we talk to each other, communicate with each other, and are able to live our role in our society, to the best of our ability, that is the idea of unity. The great thing about humanity is we're not all the same. But on the other way, we've got people that want to cut us down for not being the same, and I think that's where unity is. I have four cultures that I connect with, and in my life I've felt that those four cultures were beating each other up, and during that time they're probably the worst time in my life because of that. But when I got instructed to allow those cultures to celebrate who they are, and that's when I began to really feel that I was becoming alive and happy. So they're adorned. I was so lucky to work with Shiree Reihana, one of our. She's a weaver from up north. So she's made cloak, a traditional cloak. It sort of uplifts the mana of the Pou, the carvings, and also each work has a Pounamu, or New Zealand's nephrite teardrop necklace, which symbolises the love. So in the creation story, there's a separation between Mother Earth and Father Sky, and when it rains, it symbolises a teardrop and it's that's what a roimata is, and it's about the love of mother and father. Can we stop killing each other? It's a huge kaupapa or philosophy. I've just returned from Liquenois in France and Reims, where Liquenois was where our the New Zealand soldiers in 1915 freed the villages without any civilian people dying. And before that, I went to Reims, where they signed the end of World War II. And during that time there was the hope that there'd never be another world war. And before that, in Taranaki, there's a place called Parihaka where there was an invasion that happened and atrocities happened, but the idea was that there was to be no one killed. There was, that there were other ways to achieve peace. There was other ways to achieve the end goals without killing each other. So when I devised this work, I thought about numbers and I thought about things, and I thought that a 80 protective pou protecting one pou enables a sense of kotahitanga, or working together to achieve something, and not killing in its protection. When I think about protection, I think of protecting something by looking after something. That doesn't mean killing something in order to look after something. So that was the main philosophy of this work. But as the work's gone on, there's been various connections that have been made, and that's I don't want to make those connections for people, but I want people to understand that my statement is I don't believe we have to go around killing each other to protect people. I think particularly, and it should be done by all of us, and I think particularly there's a number of huge male egos around the place at the moment that is causing devastation and is killing people, whether it be physically or metaphorically by their killing their culture or who they are or who they want to be, which I think is also, I've lived in Ireland before, and it was often said that taking away a man's a person's culture, their monetary system, their justice system, their language, everything like that is like killing a person as well, because they're not. It's not who they are, and I think that's also something that this work can talk to as well. That it doesn't, killing doesn't necessarily mean the object of taking someone's physical life. It could be going out and really putting someone down, or telling someone that they can't do that, or being a bully or something like that. So there's various connections you can make from this work. These questions that are being asked, they need to be asked. They're not easy questions. They're not ones that have a solution straight away. And the beauty is that you're asking artists, and I believe artists have led the discussion without opening their mouths often for all of humanity. This work is not an Anton Forde work. This work is work for humanity. So the pou tūturu that you are so lovingly looking after is, so I walked in here, and what I really loved was the idea that the greats are here, and you had some traditional Māori carvings with some of the greats like Modigliani and some, Henry Moore and all that sort of thing, and they were all connecting and feeling like they were together. So when I was offered the opportunity to also include the pou, and it was a symbol for me because of connecting the idea of past, present and future. There's a little pou that's a bit shorter and adorned with a kākahu that's right in the centre of the work. So my aim is to create a flow that people can connect with, that idea of looking to the past in the present to preserve the future. It'll change, as the day and the shadows and the natural light comes in, and people will connect over different times of the day, and it's not up to me to tell you how to connect with it though. It's something that I often struggle with and get emotional about, is living art, and there's that idea of living and breathing, and that's an interaction between me and supposedly some object that is innate. In Māori culture, they have names wairua and mauri. Mauri is like the breath. When someone with the first breath of life is te hei mauri ora, and we believe things, innate objects have a life and are alive through, and it's mainly through love. When I carve something, I connect with it and I love it, and I want to create something of beauty. And when we do that and we hand it over to whoever's we're giving it to, and then it's blessed, and then it's alive. And I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I'm allowed to create and do that. The opposite is when we destroy things, and to watch destruction and that to take away life in innate buildings or people and all that sort of thing, that's where I really struggle with. So the breath or something you do to exchange is where life comes from, and all of those art pieces have that in the collection out there. We go for a walk and you go, wow. Yeah, it's awesome. Ara is a path and water is wai. So the Ara Wai series, and it's a tribute to water, which humans need water to survive, because if we don't, and often it's been the subject of war and killing and all that sort of thing. So what I've thought about is developing a tuki. It's called tuki wai, or the tuki is an adze, and the adze was used to carve. It was used to cut plants to make binding, and used to dig drains and all those sorts of things. And I've put a rauru, or a circle on it, which is about, again, combining two energies together to form something beautiful. So that we've been for a walk, and it will be installed down in the sculpture park, which is a real honour.